Welcome, everyone, to a new interview brought to you by the Arrowhead Center at NMSU. My guests today are Alex and Maggie Gorsuch, and they're here to talk about MagPiInnovations.com. Thank you both for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
You.
So, to get things started, tell us about MagPi Innovations. What is your business?
I'm an inventor, and MagPi Innovations is, amongst other things, mainly commercializing my inventions, the primary of which is FieldMAK.
And then I essentially run the business and the marketing side.
What is FieldMAK?
So FieldMAK, which is a fancy sounding word for Field Modular Assay Kit, which is just a nice way to say that you can go into the field anywhere and test anything. I've got a prototype I'll put on real quickly just to show. So it comes in a variety of form factors. The backpack is the one that we think is the most fun, but it can also be a desktop version, a laptop version, embedded system, or even standalone. So in the backpack, you can test anywhere because of the included solar panel, and you can charge it off of alternating and direct current. And the big win here is the modular system. So we've got about 22 modules. Each of these black boxes is a different test. And what we've done is we've taken industry best practices from about 16 different industries, essentially taking the testing techniques, processes, and mechanisms that they use in the lab, and we've made them accessible. So two we've got here, two of our favorite, a centrifuge. Most people don't know that they're about $3,000. They're generally big, they're generally heavy. We've taken them, made them tiny, made them very, very cheap, and made them very accessible. The other one that we're most excited about is LAMP. Oddly, it stands for Loop Mediated Isothermal Amplification. I don't know who came up with that acronym, but they did a terrible job. And essentially, this is a genetic amplification technique. So you can use LAMP to look for a targeted illness. So for example, I'm a physician and I'm seeing if someone has malaria. I would use LAMP. I'm a farmer. I'm seeing if my cassava crop has brown streak virus disease. I would use LAMP. LAMP, same thing. You can get one for around $4,000. They're big, they're heavy, but that just isn't practical for your average farmer or your average, Doctors Without Borders unit, etc. So we've taken it, made it a whole lot smaller, much, much, much easier to use. And that one we're actually refining further. And by December, it should be about the size of a thumbnail. So with our technology for both of these, for the cost of a competitive unit, whether a centrifuge, whether a LAMP, or any of the other 25 modules that we have, you can typically buy about 100 of these for the purchase price of one other competitor unit. Sort of a key aim with this technology, we're not reinventing the wheel. What we're doing is we're making the wheel accessible for everyone. Like I said, we're taking these very expensive, very inaccessible tests, we're putting them in the hands of anyone. We're making them dummy-proof, or as close as humanly possible to dummy-proof, because dummies are surprisingly cunning. We're making them extremely affordable and extremely portable. Our technology isn't something that you would have in a, multi-million-dollar clean room lab that's amazing. You wouldn't do your doctoral thesis with it. But you can take it to, sub-Saharan Africa or, anywhere where there's a lack of a stable power supply, lack of a clean room, etc., and do frontline diagnostic tests. Does this person have malaria? Does this cassava have disease? Does this corn have disease? Is this thing anthrax for the military? Just simple yes, no exploratory research.
So what inspired FieldMAK?
Penguins, actually. In the summer of 2012, I lived in South Africa where I managed a penguin rehabilitation facility. Penguins would come in, slicked by oil, hit by a boat, bit by a shark, all kinds of stuff. We'd get a call and we'd have to drive out to the beach to go get them. Problem with that was we needed a lot of tests, and on the shoestring budget, they were just inaccessible. So often wildlife had to die. because we just couldn't get access to the equipment we needed to do the tests we needed. Fast forward a couple years, I came back to the States, and I continued to think about this problem and just cogitated on how to solve it. And then I realized that I could build a field-capable medical kit. So almost all of the tests we currently have as modules in FieldMAK, I was planning a non-modular system. And then in August 2016, I came down here to New Mexico State for grad school, started working with Arrowhead Center, got in one of the Aggie I-Corps programs, of which we've done 4 now. And my 30th interview, I talked to a customer, and essentially he kept saying, well, why would a veterinarian need gel electrophoresis? Why would a physician want a centrifuge in the field? Why would I, as a microbiologist, need, a microscope? And those aren't specifically what he said, but just the notion of, well, not all your markets are going to need this same equipment. So then I pivoted to a modular design. So it became even more than just medicine. It became essentially any test that can be benefited by being made cheaper, lighter, and more accessible. The Arrowhead Center has been extraordinarily helpful. I think I'm one of 3 or 4 people who've gone through just about every program in Arrowhead Center and in the state. We've gone through 4 Aggie I-Corps. Cohort before last, I was one of the 2 launch winners. I've gone through, we're in Ag Sprint now, focusing on that developing world agriculture that we talked about.
Not to mention they've just absolutely helped us make a lot of great connections, and the business competition, BizPlan competition that we actually won first place in the technology area at UNM. They connected us with those people as well.
Yeah, and provided a lot of guidance on making a business plan that was technologically easy to understand, and really just helped provide a lot of guidance. Both Arrowhead Center and my partner in life and partner in business, Maggie, both of them have really helped me get this idea into a business. If it were up to me and I had infinite money, I would just sit in a dark lab all day and just invent stuff. But without the help of Arrowhead and Maggie, my inventions, they wouldn't make a difference in the world. An unused innovation is worthless to anyone. So we've gotten so much help from Arrowhead in that regard.
Yes, we really have.
Everything from, hey, here's my business plan, take a look. Hey, here's my pitch, take a look. And we've also used the 3D printers here a lot.
They've been phenomenal.
All of the housings for all of our modules are currently 3D printed.
Do you have a background in rapid prototyping, or was doing it at the Arrowhead Center your first time working with things like 3D printers?
With 3D printers, yeah. I'd prototyped stuff before, not near to this level. I'd prototyped some genetics kits before, using PVC pipe, computer fan, an Arduino board, and thermistor and a light bulb. This is a lot fancier than that. This really was my first exposure to proper grown-up prototyping.
It was definitely my first exposure as well.
little less scrappy.
Yeah.
Well, before we end, what's next? What's next for MagPi Innovations?
So we will be finishing up the Ag Sprint cohort in September 4th, I believe, is Ag Assembly. We're pretty darn excited about that pitch. With our technology, we're really trying to go after protecting the food supply specific of cassava plant, which over 1 billion people on Earth rely on to not starve to death. It's over 13% of the human population. In probably 2 or 3 months, we'll be hearing back about a Gates Foundation grant for that same purpose that we're really excited for. And
not to mention the pilot studies we've been working on, and Las Cruces High School here, they're going to be using us as their semester-long or year-long project. They have different STEM academies, and another one that's business and marketing and stuff. And so we're all going to kind of come together and build this project together. And we've been working with them a little bit over the summer. So that should be starting up here soon as well as a few local farms.
And then we'll be launching a Kickstarter pretty soon, which is really aimed most primarily at enhancing STEM education, so kids can do science rather than read science, and then the cassava crop protection.
We're
that we
looking
had
forward to
mentioned.
hearing back from that Gates Foundation.
Yeah, very much so.
Well, wonderful. Well, if anyone out there wants to keep up with MagPi Innovations and your upcoming Kickstarter, where can everybody find you?
So on the MagPiInnovations.com, we also are fairly active on social media. Yes. We have a Facebook page, and then we have Facebook groups for each of our products. Because with each of them, especially FieldMAK, we don't want it to be just a device. We want it to be a movement and a community of open, accessible science that can benefit everyone. In addition, we also have a Twitter and an Instagram.
Yes, and also, whenever you go to our FieldMAK page on our website, you can build your own FieldMAK. So you can pick what model you want, what modulars you want, and, we have so many different ones, and it's just going to keep developing over time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For more information about or to customize your own FieldMAK, visit MagPiInnovations.com.